President Obama was elected on a message of change. Today, he made clear just how dramatic that change could be, with a budget that would take America in a fundamentally new direction.
There are times where you can afford to redecorate your house, and there are times where you need to focus on rebuilding its foundation. Today, we have to focus on foundations.
In what would be a major redistribution of wealth, the president proposes taxes on high-income Americans totaling about $637 billion over the next 10 years. That includes allowing the Bush tax cuts to expire in 2011 for families making more than $250,000 a year. Middle and low-income families would get tax breaks. The recently passed $800 tax credit for working families would be increased to $1,000 and would become permanent. The White House says the goal is to reverse the trend of the Bush years, when the rich got richer and the middle class got poorer. Republicans say the tax increases will make the economy even worse.
I think it's a job killer, plain and simple. And it raises taxes on all Americans.
The budget also includes a long list of White House spending priorities, the largest by far, $634 billion over the next 10 years to take a big step toward universal health care. About half of that would come from taxes on high-income earners, the rest from cutting payments to insurance companies, hospitals, and doctors.
We seem to have as much as $700 billion a year in healthcare tests and services that are unnecessary.
The president also proposes billions more for education and renewable energy. Despite all the spending, the White House says it will slash the budget deficit from a staggering $1.75 trillion this year to $533 billion by 2013, in part by winding down the war in Iraq, cutting direct payments to farmers who make more than $500,000 a year, and ending tax breaks for corporations that ship jobs overseas.
This is just the beginning of the cuts we're going to make. No part of my budget will be free from scrutiny or untouched by reform.
He says he'll do it without budget gimmicks. His budget includes the cost of the wars, for example, while President Bush's budgets did not. Republicans say it's a typical Democratic budget, all tax and spend.
There is no fiscal restraint in this budget. There is no attempt to address the spending side of the ledger.
There's also another $750 billion in this budget for the highly unpopular bank rescue program, but the White House insists it's there just in case, and they hope they will never have to touch it. Katie?
Chip Reid reporting at the White House tonight.